Hello and welcome back to Hyperplay. As sure as night follows day, our man in China has done it. He has brought us the first review of the mighty AYN Thor, but he's feeling an intense sense of dread. Is it because of the hinge? Is it because of the breakable glass frontage? No, it's because he's playing a horror game, Five Nights at Freddy's or such like, who knows. Not my bag at all. But our man in China has found the perfect use case for the AYN Thor, and that is to have a dancing girl and jaunty music playing on the bottom screen. What is this, the 90s? And now he's popped her onto the top screen. Someone needs to educate our man in China about women's lib, but never mind, because the AYN Thor is here, and he's very happy with how the screens shape up. That top screen, a beautiful 6-inch OLED 120Hz panel, and that bottom screen 3.92 inches 60Hz, also OLED, a lot of bang for your buck, and he is absolutely loving it. He's got the black model, the purist's choice, but it also comes in these other variants as we know, and no doubt you've got one on pre-order already. Or have you? You might do after this, because our man in China absolutely loves the pleasing aesthetic. Now, concern before was closing the console. We have these rubber pads here to protect the screen and the joysticks. That's a given. But what about that gap there? Is that too much of a gap? Is it going to let extraneous matter and oomph get in there and damage the console? We think it'll be okay, as long as you keep your pockets reasonably clean. Sandy texture on the top of the console, the A side as he likes to call it. No dodgy logos there, thank you, Flip 2. In fact, you'll find our man in China gives the Flip 2 something of a kicking towards the end of this video, so stay for that. There's all your connectivity, volume up and down, power buttons, Type-C, and also you're going to get a 3.5mm headphone jack. He calls it a very highly advanced headphone jack. We're not sure our man in China has actually left the 90s after all, but never mind. Nice SD card. Right, here is the underside of the Thor. Not seen this before. The air vents and the fan. That's going to make it tricky when you're playing it in tabletop mode, as it were, playing it like this. But where else could they put the fan and the vents? You'd have to ask yourself. So when you're playing in the hand, no problem at all, but just be mindful perhaps of the device overheating when it is on your desktop. Very happy with the viewing angles at the moment. No word on the hinge. Our man in China does not have the chutzpah to go and wang it backwards and forwards a trillion times to see when and how it will break. Totally silent on the hinge so far, our man in China. He declares this his first impressions after all. Yes, you've got good, solid thumbsticks, Hall effect of course, quality D-pad and buttons, all to be expected at this price point. And you'll remember that the Lite model of the Thor, which comes with the Snapdragon 865, is coming in at a wallet-friendly $249. Now recently you may have seen that AYN released a video showcasing the Thor Control Center, the TCC, and that is activated with the AYN button, which is at the bottom in the middle there. And it brings up all your in-house features for you to go and adjust the performance. The frames per second on the various screens, and the top screen can now output 120 Hz while the second lower screen is running. So that's all very nice. You can lock the screens. Both screens are touch screens. You can lock either of them while you're using the other one. You just tap on the screen you want to use and you are good to go. All your volume controls and brightness can be done on this panel. And of course our man is playing in a bright light because he's terrified of the game he was playing, but you can see that the screen can get pretty dim as well. Will it be dim enough to play in total darkness? That remains to be seen. Our man is too jump scared to even countenance the thought of turning off those lights. It has to be said, our man in China is something of a tinkerer, and my goodness, he loves tapping away at that bottom screen and adjusting his settings. It should be noted that AYN have recently posted deep in the Discords that they haven't quite figured out the keyboard function yet, but they're working on it. So I'm sure they will get to that very, very soon, given that this device is releasing this month now, as we are in October. Anyway, it'll be very cool to access the performance modes on that second screen on the fly. If you want to bump up your FPS, you'll be able to go into high performance mode and crank up your fan. Also fiddle around with your refresh rates to make sure those images and gameplay run silky smooth. Once our man in China is done tinkering and locking the screens and tapping away, he's going to get to showing some 3DS gameplay. And this being the black unit, you'll see that the screens, the gap between the screens, does blend in rather nicely. He later says that the black borders on the left and right are invisible, so we might need to get our man in China a sight test, because we can definitely see those black borders, because 3DS games generally were 15 by 9, he says, and of course this is a 16 by 9 screen. Now the bottom screen is a 3.92 inch OLED panel, 4 by 3, but it will present, as he says, 8 by 7 here, so you will get that letterboxing we've mentioned previously at the top and the bottom of that lower screen. So let's have a look now at Nintendo DS, and it's going to be Contra. Now we saw this before in some footage from AYN, and we thought that the colours didn't match up particularly well between the top panel and the bottom panel. We thought that the colours on that bottom panel were a bit deeper, darker, richer because of the increased pixel density. Have a look at those purples and so on. It looks like AYN may have figured that out, at least in part, because those purples on the top do tend to marry a little bit better with those on the bottom now. You can actually adjust your borders, which is very nice indeed. So you can get those black bars to be moved down a little bit. But he's doing it like it was on the DS, and he's very pleased with the results. Quick comparison time between the Thor and the original DS, and here comes the Anbernic RGDS. Oh no, sorry, that's the Nintendo DS Lite, of course. But don't worry, because once the unsubstantiated rumours about this Anbernic RGDS have been substantiated, you'll be the first to know from us. Yes, that was the DS Lite, the bona fide thing. Back to the NDS, and you can see that the big screen on the Thor absolutely dwarfs the competition. Our man even had to get his GPD out and have a little comparison with that. Absolutely no contest in terms of screen real estate from that top screen. Absolutely massive. Same can't be said for that lower screen, which is smaller than its predecessors, but it will do the job, and it's great to have it there, because there wasn't a second screen on the Flip 2. Poor Flip 2, getting dunked on again, oh dear. Being compared here in size to the 3DS XL, let's give it away. 365 grams of glory, fold it over, the game will go straight into standby, pop it in your coat pocket maybe, and away you go. Oh, mediocre handheld console he's referring to here. What could it be? Our man in China sticking the boot in again to the beleaguered Flip 2. Pretty harsh, because it's a fine device if you can get the hinge to stay on. But that is it from our man in China. His first review, he loves it, we love you, and we'd love it, just love it, if you consider please liking this video and subscribing. Many thanks, take care, bye bye.